Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. We do these streams regularly to make sure you know how to pay less than everyone else is paying for cars. If you are car shopping now, or you will be in the next 6 months, let me know in the comments. Type me, type shopping, type today, type next week. Let me know you're shopping in the comments so I know who I'm talking to. Now I need you to lock in because the things we're about to go over in detail here require you to focus because we're talking big money. So, and anytime you're talking big money, you got to focus or you're going to just get what everyone else is getting. There's three prices that you can pay for any car. I want you to remember this. Burn this into your head. There's only three prices you can pay for any car. You can pay market value, you can pay above market value, or you can pay below market value. Those are the three prices. Now, what separates what price you pay? Above market value, that's for people who don't negotiate and don't even ask questions, just literally whatever it is, however much it costs me, just tell me. You're paying above market value to the tune of 3, 4, 5,000 or more above the market value. Market value is for negotiators. This is for people who want to negotiate down and try to go into dealerships and fight their way to a good deal. That's market value. Below market value is reserved for the people who create competition and put dealers against each other, because that's the only true way to know what the bottom of the market is to put dealers against each other. You may have thought that every dealership sells a car for the same price, like it's the Apple store. Hey, this Nissan dealer got to be the same as this Nissan dealer's price. No, they're all different. So when you go to one Nissan dealer and you say, hey, they told me the price for this car was this, and you come back home and you're like, wow, Nissan is really high. No, they're not. Nissan of Bay Ridge is really high. Nissan of Long Island is really high. That's one Nissan dealership. But in order for you to actually get below market deals, you need to connect with multiple dealerships. We do this from home with a process we call the Cars from Home process. And that's what we'll be talking about today. This entire stream is sponsored by my new digital book, which is called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy of it for the next 30 minutes for 75% off. It's normally $97. But if you go to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio or the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments before the 30 minutes is up, you can get your copy for $24. So go there, grab your book, come back, get in, and we'll continue the stream. So let's bring in the first question, Dolan. Let's get the show on the road and start typing your questions. We'll get to as many as we can over the next, 45 minutes or so. All right, ladies and tell, can you explain about demo cars? So demo cars are vehicles that have either been used by the manager or someone within the dealership. They're usually new. What that means is they haven't been titled yet. So there's a difference between a vehicle that's been titled, purchased, registered. That means whoever's getting it is the second owner. With a demo, it hasn't been registered yet. Therefore, you can still lease it. It would still, in many cases, qualify for some of the new programs. If there's any rebates on the vehicle, $2,000, $3,000 rebates, it will still qualify in many cases for that. And what I say with a demo is the price must be extremely good. So if I'm looking at 5 offers on a Lexus RX, let's say the 6th offer I get is a demo. Well, that offer better be lower than the non-demo, and it shouldn't be $10 lower. This is the same thing I say about people who ask about rental cars with used cars. Deshone, what do you think about buying a rental? Well, if the price is much lower, as long as everything else checks out in terms of quality, service records, the price must reflect. We're not going to pay this anywhere near the same price for a demo that we're paying for a new. If I can get a new one for $1,000, if you can get a demo with 5,000 miles for one price, and then you can get a brand new vehicle with no miles, never been driven for $1,000 more, Which would you get, the demo or the new one? Which would you get? And some of you know you got to stay close to your keyboard here. That's how you stay locked in, and that's how you get the most out of what we do. Stay close to the keyboard so that we can dialogue, and I'm not talking at you. We're having a conversation. So which one would you get if the demo was if the demo only saved you $1,000, but it had 5,000 miles? You get the new one. So it's all about comparing. Now, what typically happens sometime is you're being presented with a demo, but you're not comparing it to anything else. So that's why you're overpaying for the demo. Whereas, as I said, in my system, when we shop for new cars and leases, we use something called the 25 to 5. We connect with 25 dealers online. We go directly to their websites. I have scripts that you use email-wise. You type them in, copy and paste. And our goal is to get 5 offers. Out of that 25 dealers we connect with, we're going to get 5 offers. Now, they're going to be completely different. Now, if one of those offers, as I said, is a demo, then we need to compare and say, how much lower is that demo? And is there a benefit to me taking a vehicle that has mileage, that has been driven? Does it save me $3,000, $4,000, $2,000? And then we make the call. But without nothing to compare it to, you're just feeling in the wind. And we don't do that. Okay, it's a great question. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one up. Continue to type your questions. We'll get to as many as we can in about 45 minutes. Is there any leverage when you order a car? Brian, that's a great question. Your price must be negotiated before you place the order, because the more time that passes closer to the order, the more leverage you lose. So if you are, let's say the last minute, the last case scenario is the vehicle has arrived. You've waited 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, sometimes longer, depending on the car. But let's just say you've waited an average of 6 months for your vehicle to arrive. You get to the dealer already knows you want the vehicle. The dealer already knows you don't really have a backup plan. There is one case when this does work in our advantage, and that's when we have a car that it wasn't out 6 months ago. So now there were none in the market. Now we ordered it, and not only is ours here in 6 months, but a bunch of others are here too that we can shop from. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you're ordering a car and then 6 months in, you're like, hey, your car's here. Here's the price. That you have no leverage. You can't say, hey, take off $2,000, or, they know they might not do a deal with you, but what happens to you? You end up with no car. So you have no leverage. So all the leverage is before the car arrives. It's at the beginning. In my book, I teach you how to order a vehicle using the 25 to 5. The great thing about ordering, if you have time, is everyone can bid. When we reach out to 25 dealers, if you're looking for a black, white, or silver Honda Pilot, out of the 25 dealers, maybe 10 to 12 have a vehicle that's going to match what you're looking for. So they can compete. That 10 to 12 is who we want competing. That's why we do. That's another benefit of connecting with 25 dealers the way we teach. You're not getting, when you go into one dealer, if they don't have a car you want, you go into another dealer, they don't have a car you want. Now you're discouraged. Oh, nobody has the car I want. When we connect with 25 dealers, we usually find 10 to 12 dealers that have a car we want. So we're going to get 5 offers out of that. With an order, 25 dealers can compete. Anyone can order a car as long as they have the allocation, and most dealers do. So in my book, I walk you through how to get your bids beforehand. It's easier. It's simpler when you're buying because there's no lease program. But if you're leasing, you certainly need to get an estimate of the lease price based on that. Because what will happen is you go in, you order a vehicle, you get a great price on it. Vehicle comes in 6 months later, the lease payment is ridiculous because it's a bad lease program. So even though you got a good price, you save $3,000. Once they run it through the lease program, there's no support. It's a high money factor. You're going to look at the payment and be like, nah, that's higher than I thought it would be. So you don't have anything to base it off of. So every time we order a vehicle, we do get a lease estimate, get a payment based on what programs exist today. And these are the things you do. Ordering a car is a serious thing. So when I look at car buying in general as serious. That's why the people who win with me take it seriously. When we sit and we talk about how to save all this money, thanks for sharing, Wayne. I do see you. Shout out to the sharers. Shout out to the people hitting the share button. Thank you, Wayne. We take it seriously. When you start ordering a $30 or $50 or $100,000 item, then there's other things you need to consider. And last thing you want to do is put an order in, let the dealership just say, all right, we'll call you when the car gets here. And then when you come in, you're at the mercy of the price and you've lost your leverage to shop. We don't want that. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. All right. The car will be under 12,000 miles next year. I'm treating it as a lease. I think you didn't type in the whole question. Just type in the whole question, Capone, and then we can get, you got to type your question in one shot. We can't do like you type a piece of it, then another piece. Go ahead, Dolan. If he types the whole question, we can pull it in, but let's go to the next one. Let's go. Any advice on how to negotiate on price when you're pre-ordering a new car? That's exactly what we just spoke about. That's literally exactly what we just spoke about. Ordering a car, you're getting multiple offers. You get multiple offers. In my book, Cars from Home, we teach how to get 25. We connect with 25 dealers. See, who doesn't like negotiating? Type me in the comments. Let me talk to all the people who you don't like negotiating. Deshone, I hate it. Type me. Type hate it. I can't just not, bad for a bad negotiator. Whatever you want to type, just let me know you don't like negotiating. Let's go. Type in the chat. Stay locked in. Stay locked in. Go ahead. Okay. Oh, we got a bunch of people that like negotiating? Let's see. Oh, because I know only 10 to 15% of the population like negotiating. So if we got everyone on here, we're just not being honest, or we're just okay. Thank you. All right, thank you, Lavis. I'm not good at it. Thank you. Shout out to the people who want to be honest, so that we can help you. You can't help somebody if you're not self-aware, you're not willing to engage. It's hard to help you. So what you want to focus on, Lavis, is not negotiating. It's putting people against each other so they can negotiate with each other. I see you, Vivian. Thank you. All right, now all the people who, sometimes it takes you a little longer to type. So shout out to the people who are not negotiators. This is for you. The reason why things work so well for us, and when you look at the deals that people like, just look at the money that's saved. All right, you look at somebody like, let's say Kimberly. Kimberly saves $20,000 on her Maserati. Sean saves $20,000 on his F-150. Tiffany saved $6,500 off her Mazda CX-90 she just got. $44,000 vehicle. She saves almost, that's pretty much 15% off. She got 15% off the price of the car. Brand new vehicle. How did they do this? It's not by negotiating. It's by competitive bids. You create a bidding system. What Cars from Home teach you to do. Now, you could do this your way. You want to call around and get multiple offers from dealers, talk to managers and try to get multiple offers. Do it. What I'm telling you is there's 3 prices. Remember this. Always remember 3 prices. Negotiators are going to pay market value because a negotiator walks in thinking they can negotiate their way to the bottom, but they don't know where the bottom is. This is very important. This is the reason why I get people who buy cars from me, buy cars, and they're great negotiators, and they'll write to me and they'll say, hey, Deshone, I sold cars, or I'm in sales, but I didn't realize that it was the reason I always felt like I was losing with cars, because you don't know where the bottom is. So the people selling you the car know where the bottom is. So what we're doing is we're employing competition to actually get to the bottom, but you're not going to get to the bottom with 8 out of 10 dealers. This is very important. Since 2021, I have 1,600 people in my, over 2,000, but 1,600 in my Facebook group. We have a private program where I work with people around the country. We have over 10,000 books in people's hands now. So I've had the last almost 4 years to get the consensus. I've also shopped for myself for many years. Being in the former car salesman, I've shopped for myself. 80% of dealers are not going to go below a certain price. It doesn't matter how good of a negotiator you are. They'll sell the car to someone else. If they look and they're like, okay, I took off this much money for, Mrs. Carolina Bay or Mr. Carl Smith. I see you. Shout out to the Sherrits. So now I take this much money off. They look at how much they got left and they're like, look, I'm not selling the car for less than this. I can sell this car to someone else. Listen, Mr. Smith, I appreciate the opportunity, but that's our best offer. That's what you're going to hear. They're not lying. That's their best offer. That's not the best offer on the market. So what you got to grasp, this is a mindset thing. That's why you have to unlearn. That's why you have to unlearn. It's a mindset thing. Once you get the mindset that if there's 10 Toyota dealers in a state, 8 of them are not going below a certain price. So I need to find the other 2 that's going to beat everyone. I'm not going in to negotiate with any of them because if I'm negotiating with the wrong dealer, I'm not going to win. Take somebody like Teddy. Teddy gets his BMW. He gets his BMW, $73,000 vehicle. He gets it for $856 a month. But look at where, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can see this. Look at where his worst offer was, $1,123. His highest offer from one dealer for the same car was $1,123. Now that dealer said, this is our best offer. You don't want it? No problem. We'll sell the car to someone else. Look, his local dealer came back at, it says here, my local dealer came in at $986. So that's his closest deal. The dealer went right from his house. Every time you have that dealer that you like you like the Chevy, you like the Honda, and you just always drive by the local dealer. Oh, man, all right, I got to stop and see them for that one day. His closest dealer was $100 more than his best deal, $140 more per month than a dealer that made him the best deal. See, so you can't negotiate with these people. You can go in and their job is to make you think you won. Mr. Smith, you got $7,000 off. Great job. Mr. Smith, you got $3,000 off. That's more than we've done for other people. You think you won, not realizing that a dealer 45 minutes away would have taken off another $4,000 for you if you were just talking to them. And that's why we do everything online. And that's why it's easy, because we're not negotiating with these people. We're getting bids. It's a different mindset. Everything we talk about, everything we're discussing in this bidding system is what's called Cars from Home. That is why my new book, it's a digital book, it's called Cars from Home. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy. You'll have the whole blueprint for 75% off. That's my welcome offer. The book's normally $97. It's worth every penny of $97. But as part of my welcome offer, I want to give it to you for 75% off, which is $24. So you can go to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments. As long as you get there before 30 minutes is up, that timer hits 0, the price is $97. Get there before 30 minutes up, grab your copy. It'll be in your inbox by the time we're done with the stream. And make sure you save the thank you page, because you open the book there. I also email you a copy, but then I have a support email there just in case you type your email wrong. Reach out to my support team and make sure you get your book. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate it. All right, go ahead. Let's go to the next question. Can your steps be used to purchase vehicles for business? 100%. The only difference with purchasing vehicles for business, unless you're getting commercial loans and commercial insurance, is who you're registering the car to. When I was at Mercedes, I'd have realtors. When I was at GM, I had a lot of business owners because we sold pickup trucks, we sold cargo van. And so as long as the negotiating process, the purchasing process, the buying versus leasing comparisons to see which saves more money, that's all the same. The only difference is when we ask, who are you registering the car to? Instead of you saying Patrick Sanders, you'd say Patrick Sanders LLC. And then we're going to, okay, perfect. You're going to sign and you're going to personally guarantee the car deal, but it's going to not show under your debt to income. So if you have 5 cars and, each of those car payments is $500 a month, if it's on your personal debt to income, then that means you have $2,500 a month in car payments. If it's under your business, then they assume the business is taking care of those payments. Therefore, that's not coming out of your personal debt to income. Now, you do need to be clear who you're buying from and what bank they're using, because some banks, Mercedes-Benz is one of them. I found this out the hard way. Even when you put the car in your business name, it is going to show on your personal credit. I remember, and again, I found this out the hard way. I had a client, he's a real estate developer. He came, he got an S-Class Mercedes. He had just come from a Range Rover, and he said, okay, I want to put in my business name. We've done it several times. We put in his business name. He comes back a couple weeks later. He says, hey, why is this showing on my personal credit? I said, I have no idea. We put in the business name. We go and we ask the finance manager, and Mercedes-Benz actually reports the car under a personal credit report, even when it's in the business name. We didn't know that. It was not a happy day. Unfortunately, we found out the hard way, but you must ask the bank that you're going to do the loan with or the lease. If I put it in my business name, will it still appear on my personal credit report before you do that? Very, very important. But all the other steps are the same. You still need to get bids. You still need to sell your old car for the most money. That's our equity assessment process. That's step 2. You still need to decide whether buying or leasing is going to save you more money in the short term, or if buying is going to save you more money in the long term. All of that stays the same. Still need to make sure paperwork is buttoned up so you don't actually get a deal that the paperwork shows a different deal than you thought you were getting. You still need to make sure you're getting a quality car that's not going to be in the shop every 3 months or 6 months. These things don't change. That process is the same. The registration and the titling to the business, that's the simple part. Great question. Go ahead, Dolan. All right. Let's go. Keep typing your questions, y'all. Let's get to it. I'm trying to speed through these, but I'm trying to speed through these questions while still giving you all the context. Okay? Why won't dealers lease Corvettes? Call around. We don't believe something unless every dealer says it. Again, we connect with 25 dealers. So I've had people who tell me, come into my group. We have a private group for people who are shopping with Deshone. Anybody wants to know about shopping with Deshone? If your learning style is a little different, you don't want the blueprint, you want to actually done with you, then you can find out in my bio. Go to shopwithdeshone.com. That's a different thing. But I've had people who reported to me, this dealer said this dealer said that. They said they don't lease. They said this car is not, it's whatever. I tell them, we don't believe anything one dealer says. If multiple dealers say it, then that's the truth. If multiple dealers say there's no lease program on this, that's the truth. But the 80%, remember, type in 80% if you understand that 80% are there to lie. They're going to make it hard. They're going to say whatever they need to say for their best interest, and they're never going to discount the car below a certain amount. Thank you, Winifred. Shout out to the sheriffs. They're not going to discount the car below a certain amount. Never. Doesn't matter who you are, they're not going to do it. There were times when I worked at a Mercedes dealer where I could have went to another Mercedes dealer to get my Mercedes and I would have paid less. I didn't do it because I would have gotten fired. But I know that the deal they were offering to their employees was not as good as a deal I could get from another competitive dealer. That is how it works. If they'll do this for their own employees, they certainly will do it for you. You're not going below a certain percent. So 80% of dealers, they're going to lie. If they can't lease, if they don't have a car, they're going to tell you, hey, well, we can order it. They're never, so you got to realize, when I hear the consensus from 3 or 4 or 5 dealers, then I know they're telling me the truth. So I will call around. You can use my strategies. You'd be emailing, and literally in it takes us 25 minutes to reach out to 25 dealers. That's what I call my 25 to 5 strategy. Once you connect with 25 dealers, you'll see in literally minutes, can I lease this car? So that's what it's about. We can't believe something that one dealer told you. Maybe they don't want to lease it. Maybe they'd rather sell the vehicle and it's better for them to sell it. Or maybe there's truly no lease program on it yet. So we got to find out. Go ahead, Dolan. Once you guys understand, first thing you got to get is that these people are not your friends. Listen, we had somebody come yesterday and she said that she sold her lease. She ended up making about $1,800 after it was all said and done. It was through Ally. She sold it to, I I want to say Carvana. We use an equity assessment process. If you didn't know you could sell a lease, just type a question mark. That's a big thing to a lot of people. They're like, what are you talking about selling leases? I never even knew you could sell a lease. How do you sell a lease? So what we found out is the Ally, her leasing company, was telling the dealership if she goes there, they would charge her another $2,000. Like basically the bank and the dealership is in cahoots. If she buys her lease, charge her this. If she, and it's like, whoa, why would they be doing this? Because first of all, you're jacking up their pipeline. Normally, when they lease a vehicle out, they want that vehicle back because they're going to resell that vehicle as a used car, potentially put another loan on it. In most cases, they're going to put another loan on it. So I get two opportunities. I get one to the bank lends, leases out the car to you. You pay the bank for 3 years, and then you bring the car back in. They work with the dealer, and they might potentially get another loan on that car when the dealership sells it. If the dealership buys the car, then they get paid, So they don't want you buying the car. You're messing up. We're messing up. When we started selling these leases to Carvana and Driveway and making making thousands of dollars doing this, they're like, hold on. No way. That's why they implemented third-party restrictions, changed our contracts, middle of the contracts, changed them. None of you went in. We didn't go in and say, sign me up for a new contract where I'm restricted. They literally just updated the contracts they said, yo, y'all making too much money. You look at some of the old videos on my pages that you see people coming saying, yo, I sold 2 leases. I made $10,000. I made $12,000. I made $8,000 all through the pandemic. They're like, oh no, we don't want y'all making money. Let's actually, what I think they did was break the law, change the contracts, and I would love for an attorney, a class action lawsuit to be generated unless they can tell me that they didn't break the law. How do you change people's contracts? But the point is, I don't know what the point is. I don't know how I got on that point about selling leases, but oh yeah, that's what I was talking about, the banks being in bed with the dealerships. These people are not your friends. These are not your dealers. These aren't your banks. These are people who make a lot of money, dealerships and their banks, and you are how they make money. So you're just a pawn in them, unfortunately. So we got to treat it like that. And we put all these people against each other, and we put the banks against each other. All right, y'all want to be like this? Fight it out. And that's why we enjoy car shopping and we get these below market prices, because we are the prize. If you shop the way I'm teaching you, you're the prize. You're going to feel like the prize. You're going to feel like people are fighting to win your business. And that's how it should be. Ladybug, process to register under a company LLC and get a tax write-off. That's a question for your accountant or your CPA or whoever does your taxes, because you need to be discussing with them if putting a car in your business name actually makes financial sense. See, the problem is, and a lot of people are going to be audited, and some are going to potentially go to jail very soon, because you have people over the last couple of years putting cars in their business name, but they're missing one very important thing: the business that uses the car. Ladybug LLC. Okay, now you're writing off your car payment, or you're writing off your maintenance or your mileage. Okay, you get audited one day. Oh God, I'm being audited. All right, what can I do? What can I do? Well, the first thing we want to know is, what have you been using the car for? Well, I go, and sometimes I gotta go and pick up supplies from Michael's. Okay, how often do you do that? Maybe like once every 2 months I go and load up. Once. All right. Well, I see you have hundreds of dollars every month in write-offs. You're writing off the whole car payment. You need to show us why you deserve these write-offs and why we shouldn't be. It's going to be bad. So the problem is, if we're not using the car for business, transporting, moving stuff, delivering things, picking up people, you're asking for audit. And none of these social media influencers who told you put cars in your business name are going to be there with you. You're not going to be able to say, Princess Taxes, she told me I could do this. No. So you need to have a conversation with your tax strategist and find out if this even makes sense for you to do. Okay, and once you do that, the rest is easy. Shopping, as long as you know how to shop. Somebody asked a question about the shopping is the most important part, because I've never seen people overpay more than people who put cars in their business name. You see people put cars, they just flipping cars because they think, oh, that's the business's money. It doesn't matter what I pay for the car. I'm writing it off. I'm gonna make a social media video. They're just throwing money away. They're like taking big thousands of dollars and just throwing it away. So, focus on the strategies, because whatever your business buys, it's your job as the owner to make sure that you pay the least amount possible for it. That's your job. All right. Great question, though. Be aware it's coming. If you haven't seen some of these people audited and going to jail already, understand it's coming. It's already happening. Don't follow these people's advice on financial things unless they can actually, especially when we're talking about taxes. Especially when we're talking about taxes and the things that could come back to bite us. Anyway, go ahead. I think I made the point. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next question up. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We'll stay on for about another 15 minutes. We'll get through as many as we can. Judy, would you buy the car after your lease is over? I never buy the car after my lease is over. And I'm going to tell you at the end of this whole thing, there's only one scenario where it makes sense to buy a car. But here's why you never buy your lease at the end. See, you might forget me teaching numbers and all of that, but you usually won't forget a story. So let me tell you how I found out buying your lease was horrible. I'm in Mercedes. Customer comes in. I could see that their car that they drove in with is about 5 years old. And I could see, because I know it's the old body style, and I'm like, okay. And I asked the customer, what year is that? The one you got? Now they say it's a 2018. So if somebody said to you that they had a 2018 and that I asked them, have you owned it since it was new? How long have you had it? If they say I've had it 5 years, wouldn't you think that vehicle should be paid off by now, or at least almost paid off? Yes? Type yes. Type yes. If you saw that somebody had a car for 5 years already and they had it since it was new, wouldn't you think vehicle should be almost paid off by now, or at least, or paid off? Yes? Yes? Lock in. Come on, type faster than that. I need y'all typing faster. Okay. Yes. So now I go and I'm thinking, this is a person, because what I teach is something called the 8-year rule. You should not be buying cars if you are not keeping them 8 years. You should be shopping for below market leases. You're going to save thousands of dollars more. Payments are going to be a lot lower, and you're going to have better new cars. So I'm all prepared to tell this person who's replacing their car and they've only had it for 5 years about leasing. I know how much you paid for this Mercedes. You've had it 5 years. It was 50 grand. You probably paid, you paid a lot of money over it. So I'm all excited about this. I call and I'm asking the person, well, how much do you owe on this car? They don't know. Now that's always a bad sign. The customer said, nah, I don't really know. I haven't checked. Okay. But you might only owe like $3,000. Remember, car should be almost paid off. So I find out from my used car manager how much we can give them for the car. Let's say it's $17,000. Perfect. You're getting $17,000. Now, what I want to do is do the same thing. Watch this. That Melissa did. I'm thinking I'm about to do the same thing. Look at what Melissa did. See, once you find out that you're not keeping your cars 8 years and you see how much it costs to lease and you unlearn all that bad advice, you're switching to a lease immediately. Because you're going to be like, why am I going to stay in this high payment when I can go into a low payment and drive something brand new that I love? So Melissa, what ends up happening is when you paid on your car for 3, 4, 5 years, you end up getting a check back and you put it in your bank. So when Melissa got her deal, she got $12,000 equity for her old 2018 Kia Sorento. She was going to sell it to Carvana, and then she ends up leasing her new Honda with no money down. $597, 15,000 miles a year. It's like a $50,000 vehicle. So she gets a check back for 12 grand, puts it in her bank account, and she does the new deal with no money down. So she literally cashed out her equity, and now she's paying low payments in her lease instead of buying these cars, paying 700, 800, 900 a month, 1,000 a month. So I'm thinking this is what I'm about to do. I asked this guy how much he owes. He doesn't know. I called the bank, and I asked the bank, how much does he owe on this 5-year-old car? The bank says, well, he owes, his payoff is $19,400. I'm like, wait a minute. I look at him. They're saying you still owe $19,000 on this car. Oh, he said, man, is it that much? Wait, how do you, didn't you tell me you've had this vehicle for 5 years? Yeah. Didn't you tell me you've had it since it was new? Yeah. How do you still owe this much money on it? Oh, see, what happened is I leased it for 3 years and then I bought it. First time I heard that, I'm like, oh, wait, okay, I never heard this before, but this is a horrible situation. So let me find out what the heck happened here. So you leased the car for 3 years, then you bought it and you took out a 5 or 6 year loan. Because in order to get a payment similar, let's say your payment is $400 a month on your lease. If you wanted to buy it and keep your payment around that, you're going to need a 6 year loan. So what happens is you drive that car for 3 years and then you take out a 6 year loan. What's 6 plus 9, y'all? What is 6 plus 9? What is 6 plus 3? 9. Now we have a bunch of smart people who would you ever, and listen, type this into the chat. I need to know, would you ever take a 9-year loan on a car? Yes or no? 9-year loan. Yes or no? Let's go. I see you, Neil. I see you, Ben. Okay. I see you, LOL. Let's go. Lock in. I'm talking to the people. Okay, thank you, Art. Okay, I see you, Monica. I see you, Jesse. So none of these smart people, I see you, Neil. None of these smart people would ever take a 9-year loan on a car. The same car. When you buy your lease, that's what you're doing. When you buy your lease, you drove the car for 3 years. Now you want to buy the balance, and you're going to take out a 5 or 6 year loan. So you're going to go 8 or 9 years of payments on the same car. That's how I had Mr. Jones in the dealership, and I look back, and he's had the car making payments on it for 5 years, and he's nowhere close to owning it yet because he has 9 years of payments. So even though he's had it for 5 years, he's still got 4 more years of payments left on the same car. That's why buying the lease is a horrible idea. You're paying too long on a vehicle. Second of all, when you buy your lease, you're going from leasing. Thank you. That's a mortgage on a car. I like that. That's absolutely true. If it takes us this long to pay off a car, we couldn't afford that car. If we needed 9 years to pay off a car, we couldn't afford it. Just like there's 50-year mortgages out there. Did you know that? They're out there. They're available. No one takes them because if I need to take 50 years to pay off this house, I obviously can't afford this house. That's the same way I look at 8-year car loans, 9-year car loans. They're available. But if you got to take one to afford the car, you can't afford the car. So when you go from leasing, leasing is a play where you're buying new cars and you're not putting a lot of money into them. I'm not talking about these commercial leases. I'm talking about below market leases that are 1%, 1.2% of the MSRP. Look at India. She just got her 2024 Hyundai Elantra. $365 a month, no money down. $28,000 MSRP. That's a 1.2% lease. $365 a month, no money down. That's a value play. A $28,000 vehicle plus taxes and fees, that's $30,000. That's over $30,000. But let's just estimate $30,000. Some of you know every $5,000 on a car loan is about $100 per month. So $30,000. If she bought that Hyundai Elantra, she'd be paying $600 a month. There are people driving this exact same car she did. If they did a no money down deal, they're paying $600 a month. She's paying $365. It's no comparison. Ansley, he gets a lease at 2024 QX60, $58,000 vehicle, $554 a month. No money down. First month's down. He gave him one payment. He drove off in a $60,000 vehicle. These are below market leases. So you can only compare these when you are shopping against a purchase. You can't compare giving them $4,000 plus tax and fees and paying a high payment. Oh, Deshone said it was cheaper to lease. No, you must learn to get below market leases if you are going to lease, or you're eliminating the value in leasing. Paying too much for a lease, you shouldn't have leased. You shouldn't have leased that vehicle. If you're paying over a certain percentage, you should not have leased that vehicle because you've eliminated the value, which is driving a brand new car, paying cents on the dollar compared to people who buy, always being under warranty. You've eliminated the low payment part. It's just, so below market leases is all we should be thinking about. So that's why when we go from a lease to buying our lease, which is essentially buying a used car, that's all it is. I want you, every time you hear or think, oh, buy my lease, all you're doing is saying, I want to buy a used car. Only difference is it's my car. So that's it. It's still a used car, 2, 3, 4 years old. So you're changing your values. One value system says, I want to drive new cars, problem-free, pay cents on the dollar, and I just want to enjoy having a hassle-free car experience. The other value says, I want to buy a car, keep it. I want to pay a little less than a new car price. I'm going to buy a used car, and I'm going to keep it till the wheels fall off. These are two totally different values. That's why they don't mix. So the people who I typically see who are buying their leases, they're either getting bad lease deals, and they're like, okay, I might as well buy then because, I don't like this. I was leasing Infiniti Q50s for under $400 a month. $325 was my first Infiniti G. Then I went to, I think it was $310 was my first Infiniti G. Then $325, $345, $365. These were $40,000, $44,000 vehicles. It was no comparison to me to actually ever go and buy because I'm driving cars that people are paying $800, $900 a month to buy. Why would I go buy these cars? I'd rather keep that money in my household. But again, rule number 1 in my book, if you are going to keep the car 8 to 10 to 12 years, then we buy. See, that's when the buyers win. The buyers do win, but the buyers win in the long term. In the short term, the buyers lose because you're driving expensive cars, you're paying the whole thing, you got no warranty, stuff starts breaking down. Like the buyer loses in the short term, but after the 8-year mark, the buyer wins because the leases always have a payment. So you must be able to know the difference. That's why this is step 1 in my book. When you open Cars from Home, my digital book, 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. Step 1, it's 7 steps. Step 1 is to determine whether we're going to lease or buy. And it's an easy way to do it. If you're not keeping your car 8 years, we shop for a below market lease. It's very simple. I call it the 8-year rule. So you don't have to be wondering, should I buy or lease it? What about if it's a luxury car? What about if it's a Bentley? What about if it's doesn't matter. Depreciation needs to be factored in early. I'm going to either beat depreciation with a below market lease, or I'm going to beat depreciation by keeping my vehicle 9, 10 years, 12 years till the wheels fall off. But I'm not going to buy my vehicle and be in this short-term cycle of 3, 4, 5 years, then I replace it. You're losing thousands of dollars in depreciation. So this is step 1. All of this is in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. You can get your copy for 75% off. It's normally $97. But as my welcome offer to you, you can get your copy for 75% off for the next 30 minutes. Just go to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments. As long as you get there before 30-minute timer hits 0, you won't pay $97. You'll get a copy for $24. After you get it, screenshot the thank you page as soon as you pay, because it has my support team's email on there. Just in case you type your email wrong, we want to make sure that we can get you your book, and you'll have it in your inbox literally in 2 minutes. All right. So go grab your copy before the timer hits 0. Go ahead, Dolan. Hey, Becky, should I get my loan through Subaru since they are offering 0% financing for 72 months? I love this question. Or should I still credit shop the competition? My credit union is offering 5.59 for 72 months, so I'm leaning towards the Subaru deal. Credit score 770. Great question. This falls under what I call the bank bidding war, which is in my book. When you get my book, you get a bank bidding war blueprint, which is where we maximize our savings on our loan by putting banks and credit unions against each other. It's 3 rounds to the bank bidding war. But the first round is to check and see, does the vehicle that I'm interested in have any special interest rates that would eliminate me needing to shop further? 0%, 0.99%, 1.9%, 2.9% in many, especially in the market when interest rates are high. These are all deals that no bank or credit union is going to even be able to come close to. So this eliminates our needing to shop. We do this first. We do this in step 3 of my process. So yes, Becky, and you've checked, which is also a caveat, the term. Because sometimes you'll see, oh, they have 0%, but when you see the fine print, it's for 36 months. So yes, you're no interest, but your payment's going to be very high because they want you to pay off the car in 3 years. So in your particular case, 0%, 72 months, that's an incredible, it's free money. No one's going to come close to it. Just make sure that you are shopping bids to get multiple offers on the Subaru to make sure you get the biggest discount off the Subaru. You need to find the dealer that's going to give you the biggest discount off the Subaru, get at least 5 offers. But as far as the rates go, that's it. You don't have to shop for your rates. No need for the credit unions to be involved. Free money's on the table. Okay, great question. Great question. Yes, the bank bidding war blueprint is now, if she didn't have a special interest rate, a subvented rate, now she has to employ the strategies to guarantee she's not overpaying for her loan. So that is not just going with her credit union that's offering 5.59. We would actually shop for the vehicle, find the dealer who's going to sell us the vehicle at the lowest price. Then we lock it up, we come home, we let that credit union fight it out with other banks, have multiple offers submitted to us. Let them all run your credit with a hard pull, because now we're using something we're using something called the credit bureaus allow this. It's called the rate shopping window. So the rate window allows you to have multiple banks and credit unions run your credit with a hard pull, as long as it's within a certain period of time. Now they say 14 to 45 days. The way we do it, it only takes us 2 days, sometimes 1 day. We're actually letting all the banks and credit unions compete. Then we give the dealer a chance to see if their dealers can beat it, because they might have, their banks can beat it. They might have 7 or 10 or 12 more banks. So we're letting all of these people compete. But what you do not do is let multiple dealers run your credit. And you don't let the dealers run your credit first. The dealer who sold you the car, who won the bid, is always the last person to access your credit. First, you're doing the bank bidding war with the actual, your bank, your lenders, and online lenders. I have some in my book that I recommend. And then your round 3 is the dealer. So the bank bidding war, you heard me say to Becky, is 3 rounds. First round, check for special interest rate. Second round, come home, we make banks and credit unions bid. Third round, we see if the dealerships can beat it. This is how we guarantee we pay less than everyone for our interest, and we get below market loans. There's always 3 prices. Remember, 3 prices for everything: market value, above market value, below market value. Below market value is reserved for people who know how to make people bid and compete. That's the only way you're guaranteeing below market value. No other way. All right. And this is all in my book. You get your copy, 75% off. You never have to remember any of this if you're like Deshone. There's no way I'm going to remember all of this we're talking about. Get the blueprint. which is my book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's all in there, step by step to your goal. And you can go to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, or Facebook comments. And as long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up, you get your copy for 75% off, which is $24 instead of the normal $97. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. All right, Dave, what is the calculation for a lease deal? Great question. We're basing this off of the well-known 1% rule. So the 1% rule says if your lease payment is 1% of the total MSRP or less with no money down, you stole the car at 12,000 miles per year. So let me give you an example of what a 1% lease deal looks like. We saw Ansley, $58,000 vehicle, QX60. He's paying $554 a month, first month down. Zafrina got her $65,000 Jeep, almost $66,000, $597 a month. That's a 0.88% lease. Kimberly's Maserati deal, $86,000 vehicle. She's paying, no, that wasn't the one she ended up getting. She ended up getting a $91,000 one, and it's $944 a month. 1% of the MSRP, 1.09. So these are Greg, $56,000 vehicle, $527 a month on his Kia EV6 Win. These are 1% leases. Now, we're dividing. How do we come up with this? We divide the total payment into the MSRP. So when you look at the total payment, $550, let's say $597, we divide that into, say the MSRP is $559,000. And then you multiply by 100. And that's 1%. So now, that's the way which, again, first month's payment only. You cannot say, and I remember I had somebody DM me this, I think 2 years ago, said, hey, I got this deal, it's like 1.2. I only put down my taxes and fees came to like $4,000 and I'm at 1.2. You're not at 1.2. You can't calculate like that and use this formula because that's not what the 1% rule is based off of. 1% rule is based off of no money down. This is my lease payment, 12,000 miles per year. You can adjust the mileage later, like you'll see when Jen adjusted her lease mileage when she needed 18. So she shopped for her Honda CRV. We shop at 12,000, and then once she was ready to close the deal, she had them adjusted to 18,000 miles per year. It went up $45. So that's how we adjust the mileage, but we shop and we base our deals off of the 1% rule formula. Now, once I started making videos, I said, the problem is I'm going to tell people about leasing. They're not going to want to shop, and they're going to go into dealers, and dealers are going to give them lease payments that are seemingly good because they're going to be lower than the purchase. So let's just say, a person who's looking to buy this Jeep Grand Cherokee that Frina got, they come in, they're like, hey, how much could you sell me that $65,000 vehicle for? Okay, they end up seeing it's going to be around $1,300 a month. Now, let's just say they can negotiate it down. They get $10,000 off, whatever. They get it for $55,000. It's $1,100 a month for 5 years. Now they say, okay, well, give me a 6-year loan then. What would it be if I take a longer loan? All right, well, it's $1,000 a month. Hey, man, is there any way I could get this lower? Well, I can work up a lease for you. Well, how does that work? Well, you just tell me how much miles you need to drive every year, and then I can work up a payment for you. Oh, well, all right, I guess I drive about 12. Okay, well, good news. With a lease, if you lease it, you don't have to give me any money, and I can get you to $800 a month. Oh, so $800 a month. That's a lot better than 13. That's a lot better than 1,000. All right, let's do that. Bad lease deal. And I knew this was going to happen because people are paying too much for vehicles that they're getting. And that's why you can't negotiate a lease. You have to get bids to see what's the bottom, because somebody might say 800 and they're taking off a good amount of money, but then you don't realize that I could have saved $200 more coming from another dealer. So this is why competitive bids is the only way to actually get below market prices. But now let's go back to here. Even if they went and said, all right, I can get you to $900 a month. At some particular point, we have to have a cutoff when you're paying too much for a lease. And so what I did was I added up, I started looking at the natural depreciation of a vehicle. How much does a vehicle naturally lose? And then at what rate, at what stage are we getting too close to that on a lease? And I came with about 1.5%. So on that $65,000 vehicle, 1.5% would be $975 a month. So $975 a month, anything below this is still lower than a purchase. I want you to pay attention to this, because this is how people who lease, but they don't know how to shop, get in big trouble, because $975 and lower is still lower than they would pay to purchase the vehicle. So now a dealer can hit you at 900 and say, hey, man, it's a good lease deal though. But without you knowing that the bottom for this vehicle is $579, they got people that they're making $300 a month, $400 a month over what the best deal would be. So it's two things you want to consider. The 1.5% rule. So any vehicle you look at, you should be shopping and saying, okay, if I'm looking at a $50,000 vehicle, 1.5% of that is $750. With no money down, there is no way in heaven's name that I'm paying more than $750 a month for this vehicle with no money down. That is my cap, because when we add up all the payments for 36 months, we'll see it's $27,000. Now on a $50,000 vehicle plus taxes, you're going to be about 54. So 27 is the cap. We can't go any higher than that, because now we're just getting into no value. There's pretty much no value in leasing this vehicle. The lower, the better. The lower the percentage, the even more value you have. And lately, we've been seeing a lot of 1.2s, 1.3s, 1.1s, but we don't really see a lot of 1.5s anymore, because people know. I'm telling people, don't lease vehicles that don't lease for under 1.5 at the best deal. It's just bad. So anyway, that's the calculation for a lease. We're actually comparing it, basing it off the 1% rule, and then everything we do from there, the overspending is based on the 1.5% rule, but you must get competitive bids, because even, and I'll wrap with this, even when I remember Zafrina was shopping for a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, because that's what she had. And she came into our group and she said the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, the best deal was 1.2. It was just over 1.2. Still a great payment. But she was coming from a 1% lease, and she said, the dealer who beat everybody said, if I look at this other vehicle, he could get me to 1%. It was this electric version. So she said, do you think I should just take the 1% deal? I said, if you're switching vehicles, you need to run the program again, and you need to get new offers, because every vehicle has a different lease program. And what the dealer could be trying to do is switch you to another vehicle where he could put you on a better lease at 1%, but it makes a little more money. He can make a little more money on it. So you need to run, if you're going to switch to that vehicle, run it all again and see what the best offer is. See if he wins that bid. He didn't. He ends up losing to a dealer who did a 0.88% lease. This is why competitive bidding is the only way. You are leaving thousands of dollars on the table without getting bids, and you don't even know it, because you're buying from 80% dealers. So that's the calculation. 1% rule, anything under 1%, we call that a steal. Between 1% and 1.5%, that's a deal. Above 1.5%, time to chill. Bad lease program, we're not doing that. It's no way we're going to justify it. Okay, all of this is in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. I walk you through step by step how to get below market leases, below market purchases on new cars, below market purchases on used cars, the bank bidding war. In fact, the steps of the process are, first step, most important question, how many years you keep in the car? That's how we're going to decide whether we're buying or leasing. Buying or leasing is decided in the first step because as you can see, you see these lease payments. There's no way you can get a good deal when you buy, but you should have leased. It's too late. You were supposed to lease. You would have got a low payment. You can't justify getting a deal and buying it, even though you're paying, even with a good deal. It's going to be too much more. So step one is the most important question. That's the 8-year rule. Step two is the equity assessment, where we get bids for our old car. That's when we sell our leases or we sell our old cars and cash out. We don't trade. Step three is deal focused budgeting. Step four is shopping, not buying. Step five is when we enter the market, we get multiple offers and we look at multiple options. Multiple offers is for leases and new cars. Multiple options is for used cars. And then step six is paperwork and protection. Step seven is delivery and pickup. That's it. Streamline. It doesn't matter whether you're a high mileage driver, same 7 steps. Doesn't matter whether you're leasing, 7 steps. Whether you're buying, 7 steps. It's the same, it's 7 steps. So you have a process to follow. And that process, thank you, the book's already 5-star rated. You can Google it, type it into Google, Cars from Home. You'll see it's already 5-star rated. Thank you to everyone who's rated it and reviewed it. And you'll have the blueprint to everything I teach for the rest of your life to use. And when things update, I do update the book. Like we had Vroom go out of business. Vroom used to be in the book. They went out of business. I went right into the file, took Vroom out. People, when you open your book, you never saw Vroom again. You saw Vroom one day, Vroom not in the book the other day, because we update the book. That's another good thing about having a digital book, because we can update it when things change. So grab your copy. You can get it for 75% off. That is my welcome offer to you. It's normally $97. But if you get to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio or the link in the comments or the link in YouTube or Facebook, before the 30 minutes is up, you'll get your copy for $24, which is 75% off. All right, so grab your book and we'll continue to help people around the country unlearn. As long as you are willing to unlearn, you'll be fine here. All dealers want you to do is to keep doing what you've been doing. Don't change anything. People ask all the time, Deshone, when are these car dealers going to change? When you change. Car dealers respond to what the market does. Why would a car dealer, if you ran a car dealership and every weekend you had 200 people come in, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you were open Sunday, 200 people walk in your door, would you change anything? We would know when we were at the dealership, how many appointments do we have on a holiday weekend, Labor Day, President's Day weekend? How many appointments we have? 300. Why would they change anything? Now, when those walk-ins start, when you start doing, see, you won't be walking in the dealerships to do anything but a test drive or pick up your car. That's all you'll be doing. You're not there to talk numbers. So when they start seeing, wait, we used to have 300 people coming on a weekend. Now we got 200. Oh, now we got 100. We used to get 200 people a week online. Now we got 400 people a week contacting us online. Now they're going to start changing. The dealers always respond to what the market does. They react to what the market does. So that's why nothing's going to change until the market changes. But that's okay. The market may never change. Millions of people might keep shopping the same way they've been shopping because that's what car dealers want you to do. But you need to shop different. You need to step out of that matrix, unlearn that horrible process that makes dealers money and keeps you begging and keeps you wondering and hoping you got an okay deal. I think I did okay. Step out of that garbage and step into bidding and making people compete for your business. Can you really get the best deal if you go to the dealership on the last day of the month? No. The dealership's packed. Everything you think, look, deals come from desperation. Deals come from, Becky just asked about end of the month deals. Well, like this is all, please think that any of this stuff works and so that y'all can keep doing it. When you get a below market deal, like all of these deals we listed, like Zafrina, like Pierre, like Sean, Charles on his Palisade, Kimberly saving 20 grand, then yeah, all of these, the dealerships didn't want to make these deals. These are not deals that dealerships are like, these are dealerships where they're like, listen, Listen, all right, go ahead, sell the car. Can you get $20 more out of them a month? Anything. No, that's our best offer. All right, go ahead. That's the deal. When you start seeing people and they're throwing in, hey, good news, we threw in some floor mats for you. We also threw in a key replacement and we gave you an 18-month warranty. It's not a deal. You had all of this money left in the deal to throw that in. Why didn't you just give that to me off the car? Because you had to do something we call padding the deal. There's so much profit, we got to just do something with some of this because we can't justify this. So let's start putting it into products that we give the person so they think they did okay. It's all perception. The car business is smoke and mirrors. You think you won. That's the big thing. You think you won. That's why when you start looking at multiple offers, you'll know. That's the only way to know. Man, the only way for me to know that my local dealer was overcharging me for the last 20 years is to start shopping around and seeing that he's $100 higher than everyone else. It's the only way. If I just keep buying from him, I'm never going to know that. So at the end of the month, every deals come from desperation. Why? Let's just have some fun real quick as we wrap this up. Why would a dealer feel any type of desperation when the showroom is packed with people? I got 20 people in here. Every salesman you're talking to has someone else waiting for them behind you. They're waiting behind you. Hey, Gerald. Hey, look, we spent some time together. Look, I know you like the car, but you can see the place is packed. I know the price is a little higher than what you thought. I know you wanted to be at 400. We're at 690, but this is the best. You could obviously see the place is packed, so there's a reason people are here. Obviously, this 690 is a deal that most people would sign up for. I'm just asking, but I don't see you're being pressured because you got people behind you. If you don't want it, get out of the way. Now, when you are making deals online, you're getting people who their showroom is empty. It's the 10th of the month, showroom is empty. They haven't sold a car in 2 days. They're like, oh man, we need a deal. And then they look at you and they're like, hey, this guy, Andrew Katana, he's serious, but the price he's asking is a little tougher than what we normally do. Well, we need the deal. Go ahead, make the deal. Deals get made, real below market deals are made when dealers are desperate, not when the place is packed. Labor Day is balloons, they got a clown, face painting and all of that. We're making money. How much did we make? How many cars we sold today? 28. Woo-hoo. Big money day. Why would you think we're getting a deal that day? So it's all perception. That's why I teach you to come out of that, never talk numbers in the dealership, stay at home where you're in control, make all these people bid. I don't care if y'all got a clown show going on in there. I don't care if it's 80 people in there. I'm at home, you're at home. Fight for my business. You don't want to compete? No problem. Your competition will. I'll buy a car from them. And next thing you know, you're driving around in a dealership's car that's 45 minutes away from you because they know, all right, I don't care. I don't see in these small dealers, some of them really, really go hard because they don't get that traffic that those big dealers get. They don't have 200 people walking in on a weekend. So when they see your information and they're on that rural road and it's only 7,000 people in the town and they're like, hey, we got this customer, they from the city. Okay, do we have the car? Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, let's make this deal. Where the dealership in the city, they're like, hey, we got 200 people a weekend coming in. Like, come on, you're going to pay us what we want or you're out. That's why local's dead. So great question. I just so happened to catch it. And I'm like, let's talk about that. That's perception. That is car business marketing. It works. If it didn't work, they wouldn't keep doing it. But when you step out of that world, you grab your copy of Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You're out of the matrix. You are now having people bid. You're not begging for deals anymore. And this is a step-by-step system. It's worked for thousands of people. We've been doing this since 2021. It's guaranteed because all it is a system for putting people against each other. It's not building rocket ships. It's literally a system for creating competition with who you buy from, who you get your loan from, who you sell your old car to. In a nutshell, it's a system for that. So grab your copy in my TikTok bio. in my Instagram bio, in the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. And as long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up, you got it for 75% off. So you won't pay the normal $97 price. You get it for $24 and you can use it for the rest of your life. As soon as you pay, make sure you screenshot the thank you page, because on that page is a link to open the book. You can save it to your phone or to your computer, and I email you a copy. But I also have my support team email there just in case you type your email wrong. We can't email a book to an incorrect email. So if you don't see that book in like 10 minutes, reach out to my support team so they can get you the book. All right. Other than that, great stream. A lot of great questions. Welcome to the new followers. Jonesy, thank you for sharing. Shout out to the sharers. Appreciate you. Let's keep unlearning and relearning. God bless you.